השמיים, ותגל הארץ, ירעם הים ומלואו, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ, ירעם yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 Yismechu Hashamai. Page 131. The Mishkan Tefillah Yiraham Hayam. Yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 dai
Shabbat Shalom. It is wonderful to be with everyone on this Shabbat. We hope that you are comfortable and most especially warm at home as we gather together to welcome in Shabbat. And I'm going to ask that if you have candles nearby, that you get those, you grab your cup for Kiddush so that we can welcome in the light and welcome in even more warmth of Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light as we welcome in the light and the warmth. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And if you turn now to page 123 in your Sidurim and your prayer books, we will begin with the Kedushat Hayom. Now that it is Shabbat, we can sanctify the Shabbat. And as I like to say, this is symbolic, the wine of the ink that we inscribe on our contract between ourselves and God. Make it two signatures. The dualism of Shabbat, as you see in those beautiful candles as well. And if you can stand, if you wish to, hold some wine, some beer, grape juice, hold anything that represents celebration to you in your hand. And we sing together the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodesho be'ahava v'ratzon hinechil lanu zikaron lema'asei v'reishit ki hu yom techilo mikro kodesh zehi cher letzir And we say together, L'chaim, David L'chaim, Art, Candy, Murray, Rabbi Rosenberg, L'chaim, to life, to life.
To life, to life. So besides prayer, we begin this evening with a question. How has this period of COVID, these past 11 months, how have they shaped your Jewish identity and Jewish experience? How would you answer that? Again, the question, how has this period of COVID, these past 11 months, how have they shaped your Jewish identity and your Jewish experience? If you have an answer, whether it's right now or maybe it'll be in the next few hours or over the weekend, send it to me. Text it, email, Facebook message me. You could call me, leave it on my voicemail. Why do I ask that question? Because this Shabbat, Parashat Yitro, finds us at the base of a mountain, entering into that ultimate moment of Jewish identity and Jewish experience as we enter into a covenant with God, receiving the 10 Commandments, which in Hebrew we call the Aseret Dibrot, which does not translate to 10 commandments, but really translates to 10 ideas or 10 thoughts. Ideas, which really is something more than a you must or you should not do. Ideas cause us to think and maybe do even more or go beyond just a command. Yesterday, I came across an article that was written for religious leaders discussing 7 trends for 2021 and a post-COVID world, which really is 2021 and probably not until 2022, sorry. It was such an interesting piece with a lot of food for thought, and 2 of the 7 jumped out at me, as these are things that I've been thinking a lot about as we've moved through COVID, adapting and adjusting to living Jewish lives in a COVID world. Tonight I'm just going to focus on the 2, but if you are interested in reading the article, along with the answer to your question, let me know that you'd like a copy of the article and I will send it to you. So what are these ideas? Which was actually the first one, which was actually number 4. Home will emerge as the new hub. The author states that as much as people are longing to get out of their homes and back into culture, the home will never be quite what it was before COVID. In 2021 and beyond, home will be the hub. Why? Since the COVID crisis began, home became the new hub for 6 things that more usually happen outside: fitness, schooling, work, shopping, entertainment, and religious life. Some of that, the author suggests, will snap back, but he says not all of it. And number 7, the last, a sustainable peace will become non-negotiable. What do we mean by that? Even in a post-pandemic world, things will be far from stable or predictable for a while to come. In 2020, think about it, many of us looked to time off to heal us. Maybe we tried to figure out how to take time off in the summer, how to take a year-end break. Some people were lucky enough to figure out how to get to the beach. And yet, time off doesn't heal you when the problem is how you spend your time on. When every day grinds you into the dust with long hours and extra effort, you may not even make it to your next vacation. The cure for an unsustainable pace is to create a sustainable pace, which then should create a sustainable peace. So for the author, that means mastering the art of saying no, clearing his calendar, deciding to quit doing the things that aren't working, and building in margin to every day. Some people have been able to figure this out during COVID. My initial response was, easier said than done. But he's right. We have to find a sustainable pace in order to find a sustainable peace for ourselves. So why tell you about this article on Shabbat? Why? Because it speaks to this week's parashah, specifically these two pieces in the article. Certainly Yitro's advice to Moses not to go it and do it all alone is part of finding that sustainable pace and peace. But also, we find it within the fourth commandment of Shabbat. Remember Shabbat and keep it holy. Since the start of the pandemic, one of the things that we have really thought about here at United Hebrew is not just about how to keep all of us, our UH family, connected, but we've also had to think about how do we help empower you, everyone, to do Jewish at home when you can't be here in the building. Traditionally and historically, the home was the center of Jewish family life. However, I would say that in the United States, at least for the Reformed Jewish community, the synagogue for most has really become the center of Jewish life, the place where everyone comes to do Jewish. But COVID has completely and utterly changed that. What do I mean, and how does this connect to Shabbat? I don't know about you, but COVID has made the past year feel like we've been living the movie Groundhog Day. It is a movie that I really do not like, even before COVID. Even if you've been working outside of your home during this time, so many days still feel exactly the same as the day before. But Shabbat gives us something to look forward to. It gives us the ability to mark time at home in a way that maybe we didn't do before COVID. COVID has forced our homes to become our spiritual center for Jewish living. Think about it. Over the past 11 months, how many of you have lit Shabbat candles, made challah, tuned into Shabbat services, Torah study, Next Week Now, even more so than you did pre-COVID? And even when we open back up, I know that so many of you may still enjoy occasionally or all the time participating in services from the comfort of your home, in bare feet, with a glass of wine, perhaps with Shabbat dinner on your table. COVID has brought for us in the Reformed community, for our congregation, COVID has brought Shabbat out of the synagogue and back into our homes, allowing our homes to once again become a true hub for Jewish living. Shabbat is also about rest. It is about making space for ourselves between the everyday and the holy. Not holy that is necessarily solely about God, but holy that is about nourishing and nurturing our spirit. Holy that is about finding that space and that time to renew ourselves and find that sustainable peace. Imagine in the post-COVID world that will be, holding on to Shabbat as a means of nourishment and of peace. Though Shabbat may mean something different to each one of us, the fact remains that despite ancient and even modern persecutions, Shabbat still continues to this day as a cornerstone of Jewish existence. Some even argue that if it were not for Shabbat, we might not even know that we were Jews today. As Ahad Ha'am wrote, a Jew who feels a real tie with the life of his people throughout the generations will find it utterly impossible to think of the existence of the Jew without Shabbat. One can say without exaggeration, he goes on, that more than the Jew has kept Shabbat, has Shabbat kept the Jew. This is true today, just as it was in ancient days. When we gather each week to celebrate Shabbat in our homes and even via live stream, we are making space and we are making time to culminate our week with holiness, with rest, and with joy. As we continue to move through the uncertainty of COVID, let us be thankful for the one thing that remains certain and steady: Shabbat. No matter where we are, no matter what is going on, Shabbat has the power to renew us, giving us time to rest and giving us time to find peace, maybe even a sustainable peace. Amen. And we continue on page 138 as we continue welcoming in our Shabbat with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Shalom zachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu El hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, v'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kalak, Shabbat nikavela. At Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haveracha, merosh v'kedem nesucha, zok ma'aseh v'machshavat tefila. Lecha Dodi kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Everybody stand and let us all welcome the Shabbat. V'shalom ateret ba'ala, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם זה כולה. לא יכלה, בו יכלה. lecha Dodi likrat kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kalak, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi
Kala Pene Shabbat Kavera Echadoti Kala Pene Shabbat Kavera.
We continue on page 146 with Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
And we continue reading together on page 148 in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And on page 151, as you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152, as we join together in Shema.
Let's take just a moment and let's just quietly kind of think the Shema for just a moment. Its intentionality. And let's take 2 seconds and do that, and we sing it together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Le'olam Va'ed.
As we are seated, we continue. We'll read together in the English on page 155 as we think about our ancestors receiving the commandments. And yes, there initially were 10, but they actually weren't even the first commandments, and they definitely were not the last commandments. We think about those commandments are the ways that we connect ourselves to God, but also how we connect to one another. And the words of the Ve'ahavta remind us of this. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. And we continue on page 158 with Mi Chamocha.
kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Ora like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Moses and the children across the sea, they sing to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai?
We turn to page 161. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 163.
Our thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and a joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tita, Ufi, Yagite Ilateva. Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tita, Ufi, Yagite Ilateva. Thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and a joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day.
We turn in our prayer books to page 166 as we rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, ועזרת שרה, page 168, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מרח, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. page 170, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated, and we turn to page 173 in our prayer book. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And we turn to page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha bayira na'avod. And on page 177, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And on page 179, a prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. And we turn forward to page 371 in our prayer books. And at this time, we turn our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers to those who are in need of healing. And tonight, if you are thinking of someone who is in need of healing, be it a physical, spiritual, emotional healing, I ask that you take this moment and call their name aloud, sending their name forward toward God, toward the universe. And may God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit as we join together singing Mishaberach, our prayer for healing.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say,
Take a moment for silent and personal prayer. And as we join together for this Shabbat, a couple of announcements that will remind you of how to continue your celebration and observance of Shabbat. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we'll join together for Torah study. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. is our Shabbat morning service, and at 6 p.m., our next week now. And we hope that all of you received the mailing about the upcoming Purim festivities. We are very excited. All sorts of opportunities for ways to celebrate, from giving shalach manot or mishloach manot to coming for our carnival. We hope that you will join us in the parking lot to celebrate. And if you did not receive the mailing, please just go to our website, unitedhebrew.org/Purim, and you will find everything about our Purim extravaganza. And this Shabbat, it is the first Friday night of the month, so we are celebrating your birthdays. Those of you young who have birthdays. Young and younger, how's that? Yes, thank you, Cantor. I don't want to say young and old. Those who are young and younger who have birthdays during February, please stand up so that you can be blessed. Blessed is the source that dreamed the day of your presence here on earth. May you feel embraced, enfolded anew by the miracle of your being. May you feel the deep purpose of your soul, loved and cherished into becoming who you are meant to be. And may the inevitable dark gifts of hurt and loss school you in strength and perseverance. May you find holiness when you look into the eyes of someone who loves you. May you be a source of holiness for others. And may you treasure and develop your uniqueness and be a blessing to all you meet. Amen? And we say to that, Ad Mea Ve'esrim, may each of you live to be 120, just as Moses did. Mazal Tov, and we wish you a happy birthday. And we turn now to page 586 as we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 591. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
And we continue, you may be seated, and we continue on page 594. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, and each moment then. In the faces of men and women I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and every one is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. This Shabbat, the heartfelt condolences of our congregation go out to the families of two great teachers, Dr. Abraham J. Tversky and Rabbi Sylvan Lawrence Wolf, who served our congregation with distinction. We are in the period of Shloshim for Jerome Jerry Levy, Marilyn Lobel, Alan Herbert Molaski, Herbert Raskus, Peggy Grossberg Ross, Alan Weintraub, and Elaine Weniker. This week, this Shabbat, we observe the yahrzeits and we lovingly remember Rosa Beck, Daniel Burke, Kay Bylock, Robert Blatt, Florence Block, Gertrude Bothman, Lillian S. Brown, William Bill Carl, Jacob N. Kraselneck, Philip Crown, Robert F. Eicher, Eva Engel, Herman Essler, Francis Feldman, Sam Finkelstein, Faye Fox, Miriam Arnett Freeberger, Ida Friedman, Rowena Cram Friedman, Elmer J. Gidlow, Fred A. Goldstein, Louis Goldstein, Sophia A. Hoffman, Margaret Huber, Ida Jaffe, Frida S. Joseph, Betty Schramm Cantor, Mally R. Kaufman, Leah B. Clayman, Etta Clayman, Jane Korn Kravitz, Eva Lamberg, Sam Lazarwitz, Brigitta Gitti Newman Mayer, Molly Malpe, Nathan Mendelson, Sam Michelson, Ben Muchnick, Sarah Muniz, Shirley J. Pash, Jean B. Pattis, Lena Rosenblum Poger, Morris Pollock, Gary Stewart Poskover, Morris Prager, Maxwell J. Rodenberg, Benjamin Roman, Esther G. Rosen, Isidore Rosen, Dorothy H. Rosenblatt, Thelma Ross, Gertrude R. Roth, Jack Rothman, Rachel Rothman, Sophie Rothstein, Edward I. Rudman, Fanny Rubin, Dorothy M. Sapin, Joy Schetzer, Molly Schneider, Bertha Schwartz, Aaron H. Shanvit, Gertrude Sherman, Sam Silverberg, Helen Margulis Simon, Gus Slumsky, Eunice P. Solomon, Morris Sofair, Debbie Lynn Sewell, Virginia Spiewak, Moses Stein, Sarah Steinberg, Anna R. Strauss, Lucille Thomas, Goldie Torgove, Richard J. Weinstein, Esther Wolf, Richard Zeman, Rose Zucker. Zichronam livracha, may each of their memories be for blessing, as we turn to page 598 and we rise for the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Kadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehe Shemei Rabba Mivorach Leolam Molmei Omaya. Yit Barach ve'yishtabach ve'yit Pa'ar ve'yit Romam ve'yit Naseh. Ve'yit Hadar ve'yit Alev ve'yit Halal Shemei Dekudashah Barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiram be'alma ve'imru Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. And as we celebrate this Shabbat, certainly we hope for everyone a Shabbat of peace and a Shabbat of rest. And I've been asked to offer a very special and different benediction this evening as we prepare for Super Bowl Sunday. May both teams be protected from injury of body and of spirit. May all who play be proud of their performance. May they, the players, and we, the fans, be examples of good sportsmanship and accept the outcome with humility and grace. May the players, coaches, and fans treat each other as they would want to be treated, with mutual respect, patience, understanding, and appreciation. May the best team win, since we are 4 hours down the road. Go Chiefs! Amen.
Maya Ferraio, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Ferraio, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Ferayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Ferayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.